What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of My Hero Academia Season 6. Another banger episode once again, ladies and gentlemen. This episode was absolutely incredible, and I am super excited for the next episode. You guys know that I've been like really hyped up for this next arc. You guys know that I see a couple manga panels for it. My boy basically is becoming Daredevil kind of thing going on. Obviously, I am super excited for that. Now, there have actually been a couple announcements recently that came out that I want to talk about, guys, before we jump right into the actual review. A little news recap. First up, the dub episode that's supposed to drop today. I forgot to mention this in my reaction, so I'm going to mention it here. Ended up getting delayed. Apparently, there's like some ice storms going on in Dallas currently right now. So the next dub episode that's supposed to come out today is going to be coming out next Saturday. That's when that one's gonna be released. It got delayed. Kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping maybe they would like release it sometime during the week and then go back to the Saturday. Now, granted, we could just get double episodes that Saturday. Just so Funimation or Crunchyroll, I should say, now can keep up with that being 2 episodes behind. But it looks like we're now going to be 3 episodes behind on the dub unless the Japanese takes another week off and they get caught back up to 2 episodes. We don't know, but either way, the dub episode is delayed till next week. It is what it is, man. At least it's not like the ending of Spy Family where, for whatever reason, I don't know if Crunchyroll ever announced anything or explained this, but the last episode of the second core of Spy Family for the English dub got delayed for like 3 weeks. I don't know what it was. I don't know if one of the VAs was sick. Maybe they were just struggling to find new VA for, Desmond or something. I don't know what the holdup with that episode was. But hey, at least it's not that, man. We got that. But also, we actually also got some new free DLC for Hero 4 Once Justice 2. One is Izuku's new costume, his vigilante outfit, his daredevil costume, his devil costume. Just wait till we get the art, man. We're probably gonna make Daredevil comparisons left, right, center when we get to the next art, man, because my boy looks so fucking badass. But Izuku got his new costume we're gonna see in this art, and I've seen the model. I haven't played the game yet with it yet because I just found out about this like last night after I recorded the new footage, which you guys are seeing today. But definitely next episode you guys will see footage for that, as well as also Shigaraki's new design that we see for him in season 6 with the white hair. So yeah, pretty cool that they're actually giving us new free DLC for that. So yeah, if you guys got One's Justice 2, definitely update the game and you guys can have some fun with some free costumes, man. It looks incredible too. I love what they did with Izuku's too, especially. If that's how it's gonna look, I'm assuming that this is giving us a taste of what it's gonna look like in the anime. But bro, it looks amazing in the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing when we see this too, when it's all like mangled up and shit when we actually get to this part in the anime as well. Because in the game, it looks incredible. But yeah, that's about all the news for you guys. Other than also, today is also Vengeance Day. So once again, if the review gets delayed, you guys don't see it until like late tonight. That's why. Yeah, back to back weeks. I got a WWE pay-per-view I got to review along with Hiroaka. God help me, man. When we get to WrestleMania weekend, literally, guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If when WrestleMania rolls around and Hiroaka's still airing, y'all ain't getting the review till Sunday because I got Stand and Deliver at like noon, and then I got WrestleMania Night 1, and then I also got Toonami. So yeah, y'all ain't gonna get no review. I'm not even gonna watch the episode on Saturday, man. I might watch it on Saturday, man, but y'all ain't gonna get a review till Sunday. I'm telling y'all right now. If you're walking still airing during WrestleMania weekend. Either way, man, I've rambled on. That's all the news I wanted to drop for you guys. But let's just jump right into the actual episode. So we start the episode off right where we left off last week with Izuku and with All Might inside Izuku's room, mentioning that he's talking with the previous wielders of One for All. Before we cut back over to Izuku, he's wondering if everyone's okay. He says, "Please be safe." We get flashbacks to the previous events in this arc. And then before we get to Izuku, where he is now surrounded by the Hall of Justice, the Round Table, the Quiet Council. I've like gone through all the teams, the Illuminati. That's another one. That's another team where you have like superheroes surrounding each other in chairs in a circle. I think that's all the teams I listed. The Hall of Justice, the Quiet Council, the Illuminati. Either way, Izuku is surrounded by by the previous wielders of One for All, with weirdly 2 of them facing the wall. Don't know why. Is Izuku not worth their time? Did All for One's brother put them in timeout? Like, why are 2 of the previous wielders, hiding their faces? Why are they facing the wall? We'll have to wait and see on that. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna have maybe Horikoshi's saving a big reveal for these two. I don't fucking know. Whatever the case may be, we then get shots of all the other members of the previous winners of One for All. One thing I gotta mention real quick is the dude with the jacket. I don't think we ever got his name in this episode. At least I don't remember. So, but I gotta say, I love his jacket. I love the red. I love the red, the shade of red they use. Now I bias and say that because you guys know red is my favorite color. Weirdly though, I saw a lot of people. I don't want to say necessarily complaining about the color of his jacket, but I guess surprised that it was red because I think a lot of people expected it to be blue, given how his aura looked like from all the previous episodes of Hero Walker. They were expecting it to be blue, but yeah, I love the red. It looks amazing. I love the red. So Izuku realizes he's once again back in the dream, and that's when the first wielder mentions that before they needed an opening to interfere with Izuku's action, but since then One For All has rapidly grown, and because of that, that has gone in that the souls are the people already within existing within One For All slowly took form, and then communication between them all was finally possible. And so, and then you also have Banjo, if I remember his name right. You know, the guy that the wheel of black whip says, "Oh, don't worry, Izuku, we won't violate your privacy. You have nothing to worry about." I'm like, bro, what do you mean by that? Do you mean walking? Do you mean looking into him, seeing what he sees while he's in the middle of jerking off? Fucking Uraka? Like, bro, what do you mean by violating his privacy, bro? I would like you to be a little bit more specific with that. But whatever the case may be, Izuku tries to be, but realizes he once again doesn't have a mouth. And then, because of what he said when he went up with earlier on the season when he was met up with All For One Shigaraki, his mouth slowly started to form. Which honestly, once again, I know I mentioned this in my review of that episode, but once again, if the subtitles didn't say Shigaraki, I had no idea that was Izuku saying, because it did not sound like just words. I thought Izuku was just screaming. It also just sounded like Izuku was screaming. But either way, he finally starts to be able to speak. He says, "What was the matter you wanted to talk about?" And I gotta say, I also really love the way the sound effect Bones used here for how Izuku talks here, with, like, you know, his mouth coming up. It sounds really good. I like the sound of his voice here. Very curious to know how this is gonna sound when Justin Bryden, when we get there with the dub episode in 3 weeks, I guess now. Anyway, whatever the case may be, the fourth wielder stands up. He says, "Let me enlighten you." And he says that he introduces himself as Hikage Shinomori, if I'm pronouncing that right. He is the one that has spider sense, I mean danger sense. And he mentioned that Izuku that his power manifested in the last fight. And he tells them that that he startled him when he started talking. And he says, "I wish I could sense that you sense your danger sense." Try saying that 5 times fast, man. Seriously. So then you have Banju saying that he's weird and quirky, and then he tries to attack him, but of course, due to his spider sense, I mean danger sense, he's able to dodge all of his attacks. And then he mentions him, and asks Izuku, does he know how he died and what was the cause of his death? He said Izuku tells him he died at age 40, but they could never find out the cause of death for him, and that the records for him stopped abruptly and were also crossed out, which we already know, and of course we already know Baku already asked him about this back in episode 9. And he reveals that at age 40, he died of natural causes. Or rather, I should say old age. That's more specifically what he said, which, makes perfect sense if it was still the 1800s. So he continues on explaining that it wasn't until that All Might looked over his medical records and the autopsy report that he figured out what was the true reason why he died. And that was because of it, and that was because of One For All. How One For All works is that when you have one quirk user where you have someone who already has a quirk and you give them One For All, the two don't mix well. There's too much power with One For All when someone already has a quirk for them to work well. So what happens is that all it does is deplete their life forces and cause them to die way younger. Hence why he died at age 40, while All Might is still living with us today, and of course, passed it on to Izuku and whatnot. And the reason for why All Might and by extension Izuku won't be dying at old age at the age of 40 is because All Might is indeed quirkless. So yeah. Now, to be fair, this probably isn't that much of a shocking revelation because I think most of us probably had some assumptions about this, given the little flashbacks we got back in season 3, where it seemed like All Might was talking to Nana about why he wanted to be a hero. If you guys remember back in season 3, so I don't think this was like, oh shit, the biggest, like the hugest, oh shit, revelation. But I think most of us still were right here that yes, indeed, All Might was indeed quirkless. Now, at first, when I watched the episode, I thought thought this is like some massive revelation. This is all part of All Might's plan, or I was starting to try to connect the dots between this and of course with Mirio and why he picked Izuku and everything. But when I think about it now, and of course it's going on, and I think how it's shown up the episode, I'm now correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in the actual episode, it seems like this is what All Might didn't already know this information beforehand. It wasn't until of course he started gathering the information for Izuku in that journal about the previous One for All users that he learned and came to the revelation of knowing that the reason why they all died younger, why he's still alive, is because he had a quirk while he was quirkless, and due to that, because of the quirk fact, I think because All Might didn't have a quirk, his spirit was just embedded into One for All itself, meaning and that's how he was able to survive this long with One for All and give it off to Izuku. But because of how much bigger it and how much more it is, One for All has evolved, and you need a quirkless person to do it, because of how much it's evolved since All Might, and of course Izuku awakening almost all of the powers within One for All already, meaning that basically nobody else can take it at this point. It's the move that even for someone that's quirkless, it's too powerful, meaning that Izuku is more than likely the last person to ever hold One for All, due to the fact that Izuku is quirkless, and more than likely Izuku's generation is the last generation where we're going to have a lot of quirks. Remember, at this point, 80% of the population have powers. Who's to say by the time Izuku's the generation after Izuku, that number is raised up to 90%, or hell, might even be up to a full 100% by that point. And the first wheeler continues on saying, had I had the means to inform the other users sooner, perhaps a fewer people would have suffered. And we see a picture of Sir Night-Eye. Now, like I said, I'm assuming that this isn't like All Might didn't already know this information beforehand and he learned this now, because originally I thought, oh, All Might knew this, and that's why he didn't pick Mirio, because Mirio already had a quirk while Izuku was quirkless. I don't think it was that deep. I don't think All Might was like that deep in thinking of this constructive plan. I think this is more or less was all just happenstance at this point. And once it's some deep plan, like this is the real reason why Izuku or why All Might didn't pick Mirio, because Mirio already had a quirk. I think this is all stuff he learned recently, but recently rather than back then when he originally gave Izuku the power. And then Nana asked him the $1 billion question: can Izuku kill Shigaraki? Cut to commercial. Literally, this is when the episode cuts to commercial, which it's always funny that this is when they decide to cut to commercial right here. I just thought the commercial placement here in this episode was kind of funny. So, Izuku's obviously initially shocked by this question, and she says she's not asking for a favor, it's more like she's questioning his resolve. And this is because Izuku thought that given, when All for One slowly started to take over Shigaraki's body when they were inside the, I guess, astral plane, whatever the fuck this place is called, with All for One, that seemed like he was asking for help. And Nana says that they react to his emotions, and they know how they feel. And Banju says that the problem is they think that he didn't look like he was asking for help, and he says, I know it seemed like he was in immense pain because All for One was invading his body, but he wasn't asking for anyone's help. Given the situation, the only thing in his eyes was hatred. And you have the first wheeler saying that that's how All for One raised him, and most likely planned to take him over Shigaraki's body and mind for his ultimate goal, which is to get his hands on One for All. And Banjo says that he and his successor, the guy with the red jacket, I think his name was N actually, which also I forgot to mention this earlier, but I love the fact that this dude sits like L in the chair. I just think that's funny. But also, I mentioned this before, but I love that red jacket. I love that shade of red. It looks so good. Anyway, and he mentioned that All for One tried to take One for All by force, but failed. And this is to bend the core principles of One for All to his will, he will need an overwhelming will and intense emotions to surpass One for All. Which obviously Shigaraki has that in spades with his hatred for hero society and the world and everything. So Shigaraki fits that bill. And because of that, it seems like All for One most likely wants to take over his body so that he finally has the resolve and the will to finally surpass One for All's will, and of course take over the power for himself. And he continues on saying that his brother is relentless, that he wants to make a comeback, and Nana says that she knows that it's very considerate to tell him this after asking that question, that it says Shigaraki is her grandson. To fight All for One, I had to leave my son. That is the cause of everything. I know it's embarrassing for an adult to ask a 16-year-old boy, or make a 16-year-old boy pay for her failures, but But if he becomes the ultimate evil, no one will be able to stop it. As we see Shigaraki with like these like fully extended out butterfly wings, and once again, she asked me, there are people out there who can't be saved. When someone seems to be asking for help, who asking for help but can't be saved, can you muster the resolve to end his life for the sake of the greater good? And then we get like this really nice panning shot of all the wheelers of one fall. Looked pretty good. The storyboard of this episode was also really good, man. I forgot to mention earlier, but the storyboarding was really good right here in this episode. The music, especially, which we'll talk more about that later on in the episode. But the music in this episode was also phenomenal, man. Anyway, Izuku says, when All for One was invaded by Shigaraki's consciousness, when Shigaraki was thinking about his dream, I could feel that deep beneath the hatred, he was a boy, who was a kid who had been crying. I have fought many foes, none of them yielded. I had to fight to stop them, but I had no idea how they became who they were. Had I known sooner, perhaps things could have been differently. Perhaps the battle was inevitable. He killed a lot of people. He hurt people that people dear to, but and then we get this really, we saw this in the ED, the first ED for season 6, but I love this shot where we see like 5-year-old Izuku looking down at, a kid, Shigaraki, when, he was holding his doll right before his core can activate, man. I love that shot, like the differences between them, man, how both of them wanted to be the same thing, but went in two completely different directions. I like this, you guys remember, if you guys watched my season 5 reviews, that's basically what I was doing throughout that whole episode, even did that with the thumbnail, doing the split face between 5-year-old Izuku and, Shigaraki as a kid, man, love that show. We saw this in the ED as well, but seeing in the actual show, man, it looks amazing, especially with the piano piece that's playing right here, man. Oh my god, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that's a new track that was made just for the season 6 OT, or that was like maybe an older track that Bones recycled into this episode. Regardless of such, man, that piano piece they were playing here was absolutely beautiful, man. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. And it continues on saying that one for all should not be used to kill. It's the power to save lives. That's what All Might taught. It's not just me. The power cultivated by All Might, everyone, has given countless people the aspiration they need. As we see, like, Kid, Izuku, Todoroki and Bakugo watching over all footage of All Might when they were kids, and random civilians watching All Might do his thing, save people. It may be the power to end one for all, or all for one, but all of you risk your life to maintain this power. I know it has a great purpose. Maybe killing Shigaraki is the only way. And by this point, Izuku's mouth is back to sounding normal again. Maybe killing Shigaraki is the only way to stop him. I have no idea what I should do exactly. And this is when he turns back into that 5-year-old kid. And bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not even gonna front. This was getting me in the feels a little bit, man. Seeing Izuku go back to his kids, he says, "But I want to try and best to save the boy." Man. And by this point, All Might's spirit is crying as well, man. I wasn't crying, although apparently a lot of people were crying during the scene, man. But you guys know me. It's next to impossible for like movies, anime, and everything to make me cry. It's next to impossible for me. But this was getting me in the feels, man. That piano piece was so good, man. And I absolutely love this scene, man. Like I said, the comparisons, the duality between Izuku and Shigaraki, two sides of the same coin, two people that wanted to do the same, they become heroes, but then, of course, when it become, when complete two different opposites of the spectrum, man. That shot and the piano piece is going. Now, I do have to I have to say this real quick. One thing that I find that's kind of off with Izuku's logic here about, like, had he known sooner, perhaps things could have been differently, as we see, like, shots of all the different villains he's faced off throughout the series, is like, who could this really have worked with? Like, obviously, like, maybe you like Gentle LaBrava, sure, but Gentle LeBron were never really villains, but like, with like Overhaul, bro, can you really tell me that if Izuku knew his origins, he could have talked no jutsu that guy into not? And even then, even if he could have talked no jutsu, overhauling to maybe like reforming himself, or fucking like learning the errors of his way of turning into a good guy or whatever. With what he did to Eri, do you really think that could work with, especially with what he did to Eri, man? Like the abuse and the trauma he gave to that 5-year-old girl, man. It's just like, I get what Izuku's saying, and then it's like, and that's his thing, man. You could say it's naive, or like it shows Izuku's innocence that he wants to try and save everybody regardless of like what he did and everything. But like same time, it's like, bro, Overhaul, I feel like he's kind of like the outlier, bro. Like, I feel like there was no helping him, bro. I mean, you guys know he's my favorite villain ever of the entire season. I will always see him back again, but I'm just saying, bro. Like, I don't think Izuku could have talked no jutsu to overhaul him. And if he could, I don't think he could be turned into a good guy just what he did to Eri, man. But that's just me. You guys can of course leave your thoughts about this down in the comment section below. And then the first wielder says that for that you have our support. I am glad all of you inherited One for All. And by this point, Izuku's body goes back to where it was before, and we're back at square one. And Nana says that we were testing you. Gran Torino is still alive, and she asks him to send him her regards when he wakes up. And then says Sorahiko, which I'm assuming is Gran Torino's actual name. We made the wrong decision, but we got ourselves a wonderful apprentice. As she starts crying. And this is when we head over back to Alma, man. Like I said, man, I love this scene, man. There's especially the last half of this scene with with the piano music playing and everything, and Izuku, saying he wants to save Shigaraki, and going back to that 5-year-old kid, that wants to save the world, man. Like, like I said, I didn't cry another infant, bro. When I saw Izuku go back to that 5-year-old, he says I wanted to try and save him, bro. That shit got me in the feels, bro. I'm not even going from you, man. This scene was awesome, man. So then we're back with All Might. He says, we get some saying that was emotions and not words that permeated from his body. The conversation with the previous users, the truth about One for All, the struggle in Master's heart, it was a very fake feeling. But what flowed in my heart was the words from the corporate voice. So it seems like All Might was able to, in some sense what was going on and feel the emotions. And we actually, if you pay attention, when Hawks and Best Genius come in there, they knock on the door to talk to All Might, you can actually see All Might rubbing his eyes a little bit. Now, he could have just been moving his arm like that, but it seems like he might have been wiping away the tears that his spirit was crying. Now, maybe it was All Might himself that was crying, and because of that, his spirit started crying, or because All Might's spirit was crying, that meant the real All Might started crying because of Izuku's words. Either way, it looked like All Might was crying, regardless of such. It seems that way. Or maybe, like I said, he could have just been rubbing his face or something. I don't know, but it seems like he might have also been crying as well. So Hawks asked him if Izuku in bad shape. He tells him no, he's already should be waking up pretty soon. And then Hawks asks him, he wants to know more about One for All and Izuku. And I loved the little boom sound effect they played, like All My shocked expression when Hawks asked him this, bro. This kind of cracked me up a little bit. So he mentions that one of the heroes that fought in the battle mentioned to me before resigning about this, and I just from Endeavor, Hawks learned that Shigaraki was targeting Izuku. And actually, if you paid into the background, you would actually see Uraraka, Jiro, and all peeking out the corner to Izuku's room to see how he's looking, which I thought was pretty cool, cute. Especially Uraraka, she's really nervous about Izuku. I was kind of surprised Jiro was looking in there because doesn't seem like Jiro has much of a connection to most of Class A, but yeah, it was cute seeing Uraraka kind of peeking over to see if Izuku's okay, man. Love her. Anyway, so he says we're not going up against villains, we're going up against all society. We then get a flashback to season 1 when All Might tells Izuku that we keep it a secret to keep the world from going into pandemonium. But obviously, at this point, it's too late to be keeping this all a secret. So, and then we get a really nice half and half shot. You guys know I'm a sucker for these kind of shots between Hawks and Best G's. Like I said, the storyboard in this episode was really good, man. You guys know I'm a sucker for these types of shots. And then All Might tells them both that he will tell them everything he knows. I love that shot of All Might when he looks at them and points to them and says, "I'll tell them everything." I love that shot, man. Like I said, the storyboarding was really good here. We get another really cool shot of the destruction of the city of Jakuse, I believe it was, from the first half of season 6, after Shigaraki's destruction and everything. As we get some narration from, I think, Uraraka. I can't tell you because it's a funny story, but you guys see my reaction. But for the longest time, I had no idea who was talking here. I first thought it was maybe Toga, but as it continued on, I'm pretty sure it's Uraraka. I'll know for certain, of course, when the dub airs. The dub of this episode airs because you guys, as I mentioned before in a previous review, I just see what's the dub VAs a lot better than I can the Japanese VAs. But either way, she says that it's been 3 days since the event. There's no sign of the chaos ever ending. Fear is spreading. But she doesn't think that everyone is looking to blame the heroes or hoping the heroes are righteous or hoping that they say that they're not in the wrong. And then she feels this uneasiness. And she says, I think everyone wants to entrust their hopes to somebody. So when we get to this news, to this press conference going on with Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Genius. Endeavor tells the truth that yes, Dobby is indeed his son. That is the truth. And And we see from Uraraka saying that he confessed his entire family trash past the public, and then we see like this one guy, like we see some of the like civilians watching the press conference, and we see this one dude, this one big fat dude who I think is supposed to be a cat from the design. Everything is like supposed to have like some cat fur with trash cans behind them, and he's like, huh, "The game is over for Denver." I'm like, bro. Oh, girl, see, you trying to tell us something with this, bro? Obviously, I'm joking. We know that in Japan, the whole fat, sudden otaku thing is very common in Japan. So, I'm like, bro, you trying to, like, to say something about us Western fans or something, bro? But nah, it's far more of a Japanese fan. But we see some of the other people, commenting over this. We see, like, some elderly people being shot by this. And then we actually see this group of these, like, four individuals. Three of them were smoking, which I thought was interesting. And I thought this was very interesting, where one of them says, "Somebody please tell me that it's not true. I don't care if it's a lie." Which I thought was very interesting. I think that tells a lot about the unrest going on in society right now, that they want something to believe in, someone to tell them, hey, everything is going to be okay, even if it's a lie, because they just want that certainty that, yes, we are going to be all good. The world isn't going to completely, fall into chaos and everything, even if it's a lie, which I thought was very interesting. And I think it tells us a lot about really what's going on with society and the distrust going on with heroes currently. Thought that line was very interesting. I really did. I really liked that line. Anyway, we get more of the reporters asking questions. They start to like talk over each other. And Hawks tries to tries to settle them down. Which you also see best genius. Bro, this dude's neck is like it's as long as a fucking giraffe. Bro, why is his neck so long? Or is it just his collar, bro? You never really noticed it for that much when you was just Best G's wearing his hero costume. But when you see this man wearing a suit and how long the collar is, bro, you really know how long the dude's neck is. Like, bro, why your neck so long, bro? Were you stressed out by a giraffe? Was your head stuck in in the womb, and then your neck got stretched out trying as your mom was trying to push you out? Why is your neck so long, my guy? Seriously, bro, I can't be the only one that was like, bro, why your neck so long? Another thing that was interesting, you actually see on Hawks, and I don't know if this was already there, and I just never noticed, but we see like some scar on his face that goes down from like his neck up to his face, which I'm pretty sure wasn't there before, and I'm sure that came from the battle, but at the same time, I don't remember Hawks ever taking any like major damage to like his face. Like the most I remember him taking was his wing. So I don't know if that's just like a burn from Dobby when he was fighting him or something else. But I don't remember him ever getting like cut in the face or anything like that. Man, at least I can remember. I'll have to go back and rewatch the older episodes of Season 60 for certain. But I'm pretty sure I don't remember him getting like cut in the face or whatever. Whatever the case may be, Hawk says that that the murder Bestie was a cover up for his cover for his undercover mission. That this isn't enough to prove all his claims, and that he was right about his father. And of course with cutting down twice. He apologizes for concealing his connection to his criminal father, but then for twice he mentions that he felt like he didn't have a choice at the time, and that had he activated his quirk, the damage would have been far worse than what we have seen. But not letting him live to atone for his crimes does go against the principle of being human. For that, I'm ashamed. I found it interesting that he completely, doesn't mention the fact that he actually tried to bring him in, peacefully, and tried to not do it without killing him, but he was given no choice. Don't know why Hawks would admit that very crucial detail. Maybe he thought it wouldn't have changed anything, so it was like, fuck, I just leave it out. Don't know what that was. I thought. Did anyone else feel that was odd that he didn't mention that he actually did try to bring him in, peacefully and alive? Did anyone else think that was odd, or is that just me? I don't know, but I thought that was a little bit odd of Hawks that he would omit such a crucial detail about him actually trying to bring Hawks in peacefully. So then we see another one of the reporters, a redhead baddie, so she already had my undivided attention. Y'all know I like redheads. So she says, due to Grand Tamakia's rampage, my mother was severely injured. It takes more than just a simple apology or admitting to allegations to salvage the situation. Very true. Do you know how many people lost their homes in the past week? How can you speak as if it doesn't concern you at all? The villain started it, but judging by that look, you don't realize the damage you caused. I also gotta say this right now, man. Her voice acting, I don't know who voiced, this redhead, reporter, but her voice acting in this episode, man, was fantastic. Her voice acting was cool. And then Endeavor, my man Endeavor says, He just spits, man. He says one of the most cathartic lines I've ever heard in an anime series, where he says, "If I cried my eyes out, would that help anything?" Bro, I was dying when I heard this line, and it's so true, man. It is so true, man. Because how many times have we seen in like movies, TV shows, hell, maybe even real life itself, where some bad shit happens, we have like a press conference or whatever, somebody fucks up, and they try to make amends and apologize, and people are still pissed, like, "Oh, you don't mean it. What? How do you don't mean what you're saying? How could you act like nothing happened?" And it's like, bro, would you prefer if they were sobbing their eyes out or something, bro? Like, it's so true, man. I love this line from Endeavor, man. I absolutely love this line. And of course, you got the reporter saying, "What is that supposed to be a joke?" Honestly, I mean, hey, man, it got me to laugh, man. I was dying when I heard that, man. I was like, "Oh, it's perfection, man." And so she continues on saying, "Figure out a way to calm the public and take out the other villains." And then that's when Endeavor says, "You're totally right. The only way I can make that's the only way I can make amends is Endeavor." Then Best Genius steps in there saying how that heroes, but the heroes are number of heroes are decreasing. That's becoming challenging to keep everyone safe, and they're thereby, and because of that, therefore they've decided to reduce the coverage of their protection, and they've already discussed this with the government starting today. Several schools with large capacities and security measures, as well as schools with hero courses, i.e. UA, are now going to be working as temporary shelters, and students and parents can already start taking shelter there. And then we see the shot of Izuku's mom talking with Bakugo's mom. Man, that must have been one interesting conversation, man. I mean, imagine these two women talking to each other about their sons. Given the history between these, now we don't even know how much do they know. Does Baku's mom know how severely Baku bullied Izuku? Did Izuku tell his mom about how bad Baku was bullying him? Do they even know about the shaky foundation of the relationship? How it's mostly been built off abuse? Like, do they know any of this? Like, I wish Horikoshi, actually showed us what these two were talking about, man. Now, maybe we might see this in the next episode. I doubt it, but bro, I would love to hear these two women talk to each other, man, just to see what they would discuss about. What would they talk about? How would they discuss their sons? Bro, you had to, I honestly think this is a missed opportunity by Horikoshi to not give these two any dialogue and not tell us what they were talking about, man, because there's a lot that you can do with these two, man. But yeah, I kind of wish we got I wish we got something about this, not just a still frame of these two. I wish we got to hear them talk, what they were discussing about, man, because I'm sure it was a very insightful conversation there. Anyway, so then you got none of the other reports screaming out, "You want us all to live in shelters and have no future? Unacceptable!" This also cracked me up, man. So Endeavor slams on the desk, saying that this is all for the sake of our future. If you have any worries, direct them at me, but do not point fingers at those who are risking their lives. And then Endeavor turns on his flame mask and says, "Look at me." Which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's exactly what Endeavor's told the media when he was first announced and shown off as number one hero when we got to the announcement of the top 10 heroes at the end of season 4, if I remember correctly. But I'm pretty sure he said "look at me" then as well. If so, that's an amazing callback, but I could be wrong on that one. So then we get more narration from Uraraka. If heroes are needed by people, where we see much of the heroes in the outfit. We see Mount Lady with Midnight's Mask, it looks like. We see Miria, which is of course nice to see. She's like, I don't know what the hell she's doing. Is this woman about to inject some heroin into her or something? Why does she have a belt wrapped around her arm like that, bro? I mean, I'm assuming it's for the bleeding or injuries or whatever, but yeah. But I also gotta say, bro, the music that was playing here, man. Oh my goodness, bro. The music. Oh, this song was amazing, bro. I've mentioned this. I know I've mentioned this countless times in these review seasons, but bro, the composer has been in God mode throughout all the season 6, bro. This music was incredible. This song especially, man. I like the song they were playing before, with Izuku and the previous Wheels of Wonderful. That was amazing. But this song, bro. Oh, amazing, bro. I love that song. So as we get more, panning shots of the different heroes, we also see that ISL is now rocking an eye patch. He's now become Solid Snake. We see Dobby, he's watching it on the TV. And Uraraka, we get more information from Uraraka saying that whatever questions about One for All were brought to Endeavor, he just simply said, I don't know, and it was like maybe perhaps he was protecting Izuku and All Might from from the uproar and the mob. That's when Mineta comes rushing to the rest of Class A, and they all got notes about Izuku leaving the school. And we then get to see Uraraka as she read the new. But first of all, I gotta say, I love her outfit, man. Super cute. Love her outfit. And she says that I think it's best to tell class my secret. That's why I'm writing this letter. I inherited my powers from All Might. It will have special properties. Shigaraki and All for One are coming after my quirk. And there's where you will be in danger because of me. Therefore, I've decided to leave UA High. And meeting everyone from Class A gave me a great time. Thank you. Goodbye. Uraraka puts it to her face, saying, "You fool." If those and once again I love this line. I like Uraraka's growth, man, and like why she wants to be a hero and the kind of hero she wants to be. I think it's really fascinating because we've never really seen this done before, at least that I can think of in Marvel and DC. But I think it's really cool where she says, if those not flaunted by hardship are called the heroes, who should they go to for help when they are in pain? And then she says, April Izuku left UA High. Then we get the money shot! The money shot that I've been waiting for. Izuku overlooking the city on top of a gargoyle, man. Oh! It looks so good, man. Like, we saw this obviously in the OP, and I mentioned I saw this manga panel, this double page spread when this came out in the manga originally, but oh my god. Seeing in the anime, bro, chef's kiss, man. Absolutely perfect. And then we get this text as my boy finally puts on his fucking mask. It's about goddamn time, he says. And the text says, I should say, the final chapter starts. Yeah, motherfucker, we're in the end game now, motherfuckers! But yeah, if you guys did not know, this is basically the start of like the final arc of Hero Academia. We are now in the end game, man. The manga is slowly wrapping up, man. And yeah, that is where the episode ends, man. Oh, such an amazing episode, man. God tier music, man. Amazing voice acting, great storyboarding, and amazing moments with Izuku, Uraraka, Endeavor, of course, man. Such a banger episode, man. And this ending shot with Izuku over the city and actually putting on his fucking mask. I have waited for this day, man. Then we actually see in the next episode preview, we're seeing a better look at it, man. It looks amazing, man. Looks like he's gonna be going him against Muscular, and more than likely, this one manga panel that I saw that guy completely sold me on this arc and this new look for Izuku is most likely going to be in the next episode, bro. Oh, I can't wait to see the anime, bro. Bones. Yeah, I hope y'all are going to go off with the key animation there, bro. Don't disappoint me, bro. You all haven't done it yet, but I can't wait to see that, man. That's probably going to look amazing when we get there, man. But yeah, man, that is the end of the review, man. Overall, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my social media if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.